and welcome everybody to Nickel City X-Wing and the debate of the century between Andrew, aka Velvet Buddha, aka Velvet Booba, and handsome Will Hagewood. Guys, it is going to be a banger tonight. We have got 9 questions. 9 of, dare I say, the hottest, most debated questions in all of X-Wing. No one can disagree, and no one will ever disagree. But first, let's meet our contestants. Out of the blue corner, standing at, I'm going to say like 5'9", with a dog that hates everyone except for his ex-girlfriend and himself, which is kind of a kick in the nads. It is Andrew, I don't know your last name, Velvet Buddha. What's up, man?
Yeah, howdy. Life's going great, Greg. I do have a mean dog. That's one of the many trials and tribulations in my life. He may make an appearance. You may hear him at some point later. I'm not very good at X-Wing, but I am.
What kind of dog is it? We gotta know.
A little corgi named Waylon.
Oh, that's adorable.
He's very small and very serious.
The white and brown.
He is black and red and white, so lots of colors.
Black, red, and white, the color of blood. In the red corner, you may know him as that damn good-looking fella across the way from me. You may know him as the guy whose camera betrays how good-looking he actually is. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Gold Squadron podcast and your heart, it's William H. I don't know what his middle name is. William H. Hagewood. I bet it's Jefferson. William Jefferson Hagewood.
I'm never gonna be able to live up to that hype, but I do love having you as my hype man, Greg.
Listen, there it is.
My middle name is a kind of duck. That to the
Mallard? William Mallard?
Mallard. Yeah. No, it's not Mallard.
William Goose? Is it Goose's ducks?
Goose is not a duck. They are their own species, it turns out.
Oh, okay, Google types of ducks. Okay, William Domestic Duck Hagewood. William Canvasback Hagewood.
Oh, it's Canvasback. How would you know?
William Marbled Duck Hagewood. None of these seem like names. It's gotta be Mallard. Mallard is the only one that's even close to a name. It's Alabio, Fulvis, Black Bellied, which would be a hilarious middle name, Wandering Whistling, Spotted Whistling, White-Faced Whistling, Lesser Whistling, West Indian Whistling, William West Indian Whistling Hagewood, and Plumed.
Where are you getting?
From Google.
Where are you getting this list of things?
William Gadwell Hagewood. Gadwall? It's Gadwall. Guys, I'm not asking a single Brant. William Brant. Hagewood?
Brant would actually. That's the best guess you've had so far. This is quickly devolving, so I'll let you know. It is Drake. You would have never
Drake
gotten to it.
Duck. Drake is a fully... No, okay. See, you're a liar.
What?
You said it's a kind of duck. A
What is
drake
that?
is and I'm quoting here. A drake is a fully sexually mature adult male duck of any duck species.
Oh, well, I didn't specify a species, did I? Gotcha, Greg.
Andrew, what's your middle name? What kind of waterfowl are you named after?
I have 2 middle names, in fact. 2 middle names.
Okay.
Isaac Leland.
Ooh.
Don't know where those come from.
Andrew Isaac Leland Velvet Buddha.
That's correct.
All right, guys, I've got 9 questions for you today. They're the most hotly debated questions ever. And then you're each going to get 2 minutes. We'll pick a side. One person will start. The other person will stop. Then you're going to get 2 minutes to rebut on the other person. We're going to let chat vote, and then I'm going to decide a winner, taking in the chat's vote into consideration. My opinions are the most important. So, sound good? Of course it does. It's my show. All right. Your first question. Are Adas, the Ada 2 Actis Interceptor, the ultimate ace ship? Are Adas the ultimate ace? We're going to start with Will. Your 2 minutes starts now.
I'm gonna go with no. And while an Ada has the ability to reposition twice with defensive mods, which could be the start of what sounds like the definition of an ace. To be the ultimate ace, though, you need to be able to have the option to double reposition after your maneuver, and sometimes have the option to reposition before your maneuver. And the only chassis that can do that is, of course, the Aether Sprite. You can put on, if you're allowed, Supernatural or the Reflexes to change your position beforehand. But without that double reposition, I cannot give the title of Ada, or give the title of Ultimate Ace to the Ada. Other ships with double reposition, the Interceptors and Silencers, are also known for their extreme maneuverability and ace-like qualities. But what those two ships lack, outside of Kylo, is those defensive modifiers that every single Aether Sprite has. In addition to that, they bring a big gun that you can get the 7B full front arc. So even while you're acing, you're not losing out on precious attack power. Now, the Aether Sprite does have an extra shield, I guess. But for me, mostly, I don't think you can be the ultimate ace without double reposition.
All right, I'm there. Good job, good argument. I will point out that Kylo could reposition beforehand in the Silencer. You equip him so. But Andrew, your 2 minutes starts now.
Thanks, Greg. If you were locked in a room for a year and tried to come up with the best X-Wing list ever, what would you fly? Obviously, it would be an Ada, as the highest skill ceiling of any ship in the game. A couple of things are really important for that. First, the system phase reposition allows you to prevent yourself from being blocked, assuming you have the appropriate initiative and road roll-off. There's saying if you get blocked, you die, and that happens to ships. Someone like Soontir can easily die if he gets blocked and has no mods. And Ada can avoid that block by doing that little barrel roll, by doing that system phase boost. So really, really important. The other big thing that makes the Adas unique, that makes them the ultimate interceptor, is that you can't prevent their force. So there's all sorts of tech, especially in the Scum. There's good blocking techniques where you can prevent interceptors from getting their mods. The Ada is one of the very few ships that almost nothing can stop it from spending the force on defense. So you talk about the end game and how do I preserve my points, make sure I can run away as quickly as possible. Double reposition, pretty valuable, but the ability to always have your mods is probably better. So even if you get ionized, you still got your force to spend. If you get someone like, I don't know, Paylob is coming after you, Old T is coming after you, you're still going to have those defensive mods that make it, that are really unique to the Ada, that you won't see in any other chassis really, to the same degree of those 3 force points. I think that's really unique. The gun isn't as big, but I would say just get better. Like if you are really that good at X-Wing, you're going to get the 3-die gun pretty frequently. Again, if you're good, if you're better than me, and so its offensive potential is quite high. Its limit of the 3 hull, sure, it's a limit. Just take your advantage, don't get blocked. Be better.
Hashtag be better from Andrew. Will, we're gonna give you 2 minutes to just respond to Andrew. Anything you want to add, or say maybe he's
a lot of ships have force. 1. 2. While while the Aether Sprite normally doesn't have an evade token because it costs force to do so, I think that you don't need the evade token to match with your defensive force if you could just arc dodge, which I think the Aether Sprites can do in a better capacity than the Adas. Plus, you get that shield for free as well. I would count that a little bit more defensive. But to me, it's not about your defensive quality. It's about how much you can arc dodge. I think that's the true bar you have to set with for the ultimate Ace chassis.
okay. Andrew, you get 2 minutes to rebut to wit. The final word goes down to yours.
Yeah, I think we're here discounting the value of that white evade. And even if you're taking a shot, the odds of someone getting through damage if you have 3 force and an evade token are slim to none, even for a double modded 3-die shot. So yes, arc dodging is important, but preserving your force, kind of running away, preventing yourself from being blocked, I think are slightly better values than taking that one measly 3-die shot that you can't arc dodge because you don't have that double reposition.
All right. Now we are going to turn it to the audience. You've heard the arguments. Surprised if we didn't get anything about the forced Talon roll, being able to turn around without stressing yourself and being able to reposition after turnaround seems big. Let's go with Andrew. Will go 2 minutes on that poll. Get your votes in. Who won this one? Was it Andrew or Will? Vote now. So you guys like Star Wars?
I've seen that's movies, right?
Yeah, it's mainly movies. Yeah, movies.
I do. You got any hot takes after Book of Boba Fett, Greg?
Just that 6 episodes isn't enough to tell a complete story.
But I mean, they could have tried. It seems like they didn't even try.
Well, yeah, okay. Maybe 6 episodes with 2 of those episodes not being in the same show isn't enough to tell a full story. Azaghal saying he only heard half of the debate. The debate are the Eta 2 Actis Interceptors the ultimate ace? Are you guys surprised that Republic won the day last weekend? Or this yesterday?
I had almost completely wrote them off. But yet, when you just have a passion for lats, you can do anything apparently.
Yeah, apparently Lats had their day.
Lats didn't have their day. Though the Anakin Y-Wing, I'm going to have to put on the table and show that guy some love, because...
I still think it's bad.
I mean, it's not good. I don't know what I'm going to put on it, but...
You almost need, like, stealth device, but, like, it's so many points.
Start slinging him evades and stuff. Jeez.
Yeah.
If you only have enough turns to shoot all your torpedoes, that list seems fabulous. But, you know, if you're playing for a little longer, it may be tough.
Yeah, that list requires every ship to start firing immediately. You need to, like, nuke stuff off the board to give yourself a chance. I love that Hawk list, though. That was my shit. 6 Hawks with Sunny Bounder for some reason. Just make it 7 Hawks. I want to believe that he's like, I can afford 6, and I have an M3A. I can't afford the 7th. All right, looks like we're tied 1-1, so I get to pick the winner. And even though I believe the Eta has a lot of good qualities, good AC qualities, I do not think it's the ultimate ace. I think the ultimate ace is probably the silencer. As far as ships go.
I mean, you mean Kylo.
Yeah, but like just as far as ships go, the silencer is the predator of the predator. Maybe Soontir Fel. I feel like Soontir Fel probably has the highest like skill cap on ace play.
Is it
like,
is
ultimate
it
ace
is
play.
double reposition, Greg?
I mean, well, Soontir specifically lets you double repo and double mod with like defensive and offensive mod. So, I mean, Soontir's probably up there plus I6. Anakin Aether Sprite, even though no one flies him because he's crazy expensive. Yeah, but that's gonna give Will 1,111 point lead.
How many nickels is that worth?
I don't know. Got to decide. We'll figure it out. Which is going to bring us to question 2. Question 2, we're going to start with Andrew on. Chris from Lancaster, what is up? Andrew, the question to you now is, if the new bump rules play out like we expect them to, like AMG has shown, there's no reason to not expect that to be kind of how the game is played. Are swarms dead? Swarm's going to die just from the risk of taking damage from themselves, etc. I will start your 2 minutes now.
Okay, swarms are definitely not dead and are definitely here to stay. So for one, swarms are already a small portion of the meta in terms of quantity of players playing, but are highly successful because they take a lot of skill and patience and kind of thought to work through all the motions. So they're hard to play, and they're going to probably be harder to play. But there's a couple of things that they're going to do really well. One, all the objectives where it requires an action or requires a ship to move around the board, those swarms are going to be really effective at them because each individual ship doesn't need a mod. So if your Kylo doesn't get a focus or doesn't get a token, that's pretty bad for Kylo. If one of your 7 vultures doesn't have a mod, that's not such a big deal. I think compounding that, network calculations has been so successful for a long time. That swarm archetype is popular. Allowing them to share tokens like that means that you can take the action to pick up the objective, to capture the objective, and you're not losing out on a lot of value. Now, maybe the tethered swarm is dead because you don't want to stick everyone in the same spot and risk bumping yourself. But 2 packs of Seeks or 2 packs of Vultures are certainly going to be around. And then if you're taking I1s that worry about bumping, you can plan pretty well where your ships are going to be and just not bump yourself. Between jumping on rocks, moving in pretty different directions, I think it's going to be easier than you would expect to avoid bumping yourself if you're at I1. And even if you do, the half a hit point dice, that 50-50 shot isn't that punishing when your ship is really only there to score some objective points or take 1 or 2 pot shots at the beginning of the game.
Okay. Well, are swarms dead? Your 2 minutes starts now.
Absolutely. The tethered, as you put it, tethered swarm. We're talking things that need people to be range 1. Sarasu, Home Runner, Captain Jonas, Biggs, all these ships that need to have your whole squad as close to you as possible. I simply don't think it's going to be beneficial because you need to spread out to capture objectives. But also, if they have a key blocker, can ruin not only your actions, but now give you potential damage if they force bumps into yourself. And that mixed with more and more ships having what I would call faster maneuvers. We've been seeing a lot of system phase boosting from the ADAs, the bombers, things like that. With ships going faster, they are going to come in contact with each other more. They're going to have overlapping lanes. And now, sure, Vultures might get a pass on this, but they can simply not move once you get onto an obstacle. These swarms that, or we'll maybe say large formation. Uh, they are just not going to be effective to capture multiple objectives. They're traditionally slow as well. And I think, as I was saying, the speed overall is going to need to be faster. But most importantly, though, I would say people are bad at flying. Traditionally, people are bad at flying and will bump into each other. So that consequential damage, final nail in the coffin.
Okay. Andrew, you get 2 minutes to respond to Will here. Our swarm's dead. Your contention is that no, they aren't. You get 2 more minutes. Go for it.
Most people may be bad at flying, but those people who get really good at swarms, I think, will be able to dominate in area control type situations, even if it isn't an area control objective. If you throw 8 ships, 7 ships into the middle of the board, and your opponent starts doing things like taking stress,
that was 1 in a million.
they're now limiting their sets of maneuvers. And again, we don't know how the points are going to be scored, but if it really is, you get 5 points for killing a 50-point ship, that ability to win by killing one ship is kind of eliminated with the swarm, but is a big risk if you're going against the swarm. So your 50-60 point X-Wing or what have you now is taking 6 shots, or they're running away, because you can't give up 6 points in a round. But if you do bump into yourself and you take a damage, no one cares. There's also no half points anymore. So that one whole vulture isn't worth anything at the end. So you're free to kind of throw it about. And I do disagree with Will's point about objective capturing. The more bodies you have on the board, the easier it is to send that ship to take the objective, to run away with the objective, to take a defensive posture, as opposed to a smaller ship count where your ships may need that token offensively to compete, or they may need to do something to keep them in the fight or continue with your win conditions, in a way where the swarm can just say, my only objective is to take the objective points. I don't care about the combat here.
Okay. Will, you get the last word. Your final rebuttal. Our swarm's dead. Your time starts now.
My final word might be semantics. And this might be me. So when I think of a swarm, I'm thinking of a bunch of ships all together. Once you start dividing them out into different firing groups, different smaller squadrons, you are no longer a swarm. You're multiple groups of ships. But the ability for those to succeed, I think, was independent from how many ships are in your swarm. Like I said, to me, swarms mean close together, range 1, doing like network calculations, sharing off of each other, having those very tight-knit abilities, and then just pouncing all onto one target, which I don't think will be effective as much as splitting up into those firing teams, I think, would be valuable. But then again, though, those aren't swarms, in my opinion.
Okay. We're going to turn to you, the audience, now. 2 minutes on the clock. Who do you think won? Vote in the poll up above. We've got Andrew in the blue corner, Will in the red. Who do you think made the better points? Who convinced you that swarms are dead or alive? Is there anything more divisive in X-Wing than swarms? Besides, like, road?
Unkillable aces, fat turrets.
You think those are more divisive? I've never heard anyone complain about aces.
Yeah. When you're the swarm player and you misjudge and they arc dodge 8 of your arcs, yeah, you might start complaining.
Subroot says he missed Andrew's sales pitch, so it would be unfair to vote. Great self-restraint there. We take this very seriously. And then Scooter says, how do you vote? There's a poll up above the chat. I don't know if it shows up on mobile. That might be the issue we're having there. And then Cellbrute says, Andrew, say something spicy.
I make my own hot sauce from peppers I grow in my garden. Is that spicy?
It's like hipster and like eco-friendly all at once. It is 4-4 right now in the votes. 4-4. I feel like people have said, you know what? They have both made some really good points. It's almost like it's living up to the debate of the century. This is literally the debates that will change the world. Pendisha says, I wasn't even here, but I voted. And you know what? That vote has apparently gone to Andrew. And I guess I gotta go with chat here. I don't think swarms are gonna die. I just don't. Because people will never give it up. I want them to. I wish they would. Ain't nothing worse in this world than a Sloan swarm. And I'm including several war crimes in that statement. All right. Question 3. We're going to start with Will on this one, I believe. Question 3. This is just because I love tractors, and I'm a little upset. With deadlier obstacles, should you still be allowed to tractor a ship onto an obstacle? Notable change, they're saying that you're not allowed to tractor ships onto obstacles anymore with the new obstacle consequences. Is that a good rule change? Should you be allowed to? Will, your 2 minutes starts now.
Yes, you should be allowed to tractor ships onto obstacles. This is where theme and maybe fluff is the right word, where what tractor beams do in Star Wars are not limited by other objects in the way. If X-Wing would allow it, you should be able to smash one ship of your opponents into another one. What that would do, I don't know. But the iconic scenes we've had show tractor beams being very powerful. They can move whole starships in any way, regardless of how small they are. The humble tugboat is used to move huge starships. You don't think that could move a TIE fighter into a rock? I would believe it should. I want bloody, gory. Wait. Let's go. Sorry, there's ships. There's ships. Sorry. I want messy, dilapidated combat where ships are breaking apart and getting destroyed all over the place. And if that means I can smash you into a rock, so be it. You can fly off of it. It's fine. And especially the humble tugboat. The tugs at your heartstrings and other ships at the same time. Should have its day in the sun. Why, AMG, do you hate the tugboat? Did it get 3 seconds of screen time? Yes. Will it live in our hearts forever? Yes.
Time. Andrew, same question to you because that's how debate works. With deadlier obstacles, should you be allowed to tractor ships onto obstacles? Your time starts.
The disaster that was...
You wait for me to say your time starts now. Your time starts now.
In the same way that all the tugboat did was explode. All allowing people to tractor someone onto obstacle would do is explode people's opinions of X-Wing. It would ruin it. The new scary obstacles, I think, are fabulous for the game. They make it more interesting, more challenging, allow you to have a few more decisions in the game. But they also mean that consequences of certain things are harsher. And for something like a tractor, where there's a lot of built-in mechanics that you can't really avoid a tractor getting that tractor token, to punish someone so harshly for what is, frankly, an easy tool to apply is unfun. Not fair, I'm not talking about points or fairness or theme. It's just not fun for the person who's being tractored. And I think it is not really fun in a competitive sense, in that if you get tractored onto a rock, you can't shoot, you are taking a bunch of damage, you may be on that rock for a whole nother turn. These things aren't fun for a competitive game because they take competition away, because it isn't preventable. Things like the Lancer or the Nantex that can just kind of pretty easily throw a tractor token on you, that level of damage that you can't do much to prevent is ultimately not a satisfying result for the opponent, for the person who is getting tractored. And so for the sake of the game, preventing you from tractoring someone onto an obstacle isn't a great solution, and I think it's ultimately not good for the game.
Okay. All right, Will, we are going to give you 2 minutes to respond to Andrew here. Sir Isaac, and I already forgot your second middle name, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Isaac's pretty good on its own. Will, your 2 minutes starts now.
If you're shaking in your boots about some little 4-engined tugboat coming at you, then you are more than welcome to bring some gas clouds. They won't hurt you at all. Nice little friendly gas clouds. They'll even will break your locks for you. There is options you can do to prevent yourself from getting thrown on to obstacles. So there is, I would say, some counterplay to it. Now, can you accidentally walk yourself into a trap? Sure, of course. But with the ability of the rotate from the tractor token, as the rule stands right now, you can certainly fly yourself off of the obstacle. Now, I did mention a key point of shooting tractor beams and throwing somebody onto an obstacle. That's just good fun. Maybe maybe you should have brought the tractor beam and I would be the one on the obstacle. So I would say it depends on your definition of fun. For the person using the tractor beam, probably a great time. Maybe they would encourage everybody to put a little tractor in their life.
Get a little tractor in your life. All right. Andrew, you get to rebut still, right? Yeah? That's how this works? Yeah? Yes. Yes. Yes, you do. Andrew, the last word is yours. Your time starts now.
If you vote for Will, what you're voting for is a new Nantex meta. Do you love the bugs? Do you want to bring the bugs back? Then vote for the most handsome man in the room and bring back those spam techs. But if you want to have reasonable rules, if you want to pour one out for the Dear Quad Jumper, which I agree, one of the best ships in the game, the Lancer too, we love them, our dearly departed friends. Let's say thank you to them. Let's appreciate all the beautiful tractoring they've done. But for the sake of the bugs, you can't vote for Will, and you can't tractor people onto obstacles anymore.
Okay. I'm gonna create this poll. Who do you guys think won, Andrew or Will? Going to spam text. That's almost like the Hitler argument.
Yeah, you went right to Twitter. The spam text.
I will say the argument of it not being fun. I'm like, well, losing's never fun. I've never had fun, like an Upsilon double modding a shot at me is not fun. But you can't take it out of the game. We'll see though. Andrew's looking at me with what I can only describe to be pure hatred.
I'm actually looking at Yasby to see what I'm going to answer for the next question, because I don't really know.
Okay, fair enough.
I've actually never seen an Antex ever. Someone ever fly one. I've
I
never seen
think
one in person.
I like if literally the only thing that needs to change about the Nantex is it needs to say fully execute on the pinpoint tractor array, and then it's absolutely fine.
But you still don't get your action. But I guess you get the barrel roll though.
Yeah,
It's
but,
only I would say
also do you get your action? Because now with the bump, you get to bump, rotate,
No,
tractor, focus.
no. You
red?
have to take the red stress before any after executing.
We'll find out. I haven't seen any words. Do you honestly believe that AMG has taken that into consideration?
Yeah, it has to be after the check for stress phase. I would imagine if they're looking through the pilot abilities, the amount of people who have after executing things. Oh wait, is Anakin in the Aether Spray? That's fully execute, isn't it? Anakin's ability.
I believe so.
I thought Anakin had one that wasn't fully execute. Is it the Y-wing?
No, that's fully.
Maybe it was Oddball then.
All right. Well, chat is siding with Will by a score of 4-2. So we're gonna give Will the points there. That's gonna bring him up to 2,222 points. Andrew, don't you worry though. You're sitting at 1,111. So I mean, it's pretty good. Ask anybody. Catherine says, "Boo! Down with track." Why? Okay. So that last one started with Andrew. You know, I'm going to mark these so that I know who's starting with them.
I started that one.
Yeah, well,
I started the odds.
You started the odds. Did that on purpose and I still fucked it up. Okay. So, Andrew, you are going to start this one. Question number 4. Well, first off, Chris from Lancaster says, Andrew is handsome, but Will is handsomer. And then he apologizes. It's a tough break, Andrew. Join the club. Like, Will's better looking than all of us. All right, Andrew, your question. 2 minutes on the clock. What ship needs to cost less the most? Like, what ship is the most overpriced right now? Your 2 minutes will start now.
All of us want X-Wing to be fun and successful. And for it to be fun, one of the great things is having silly shenanigans in the game. And for X-Wing to be successful, people have to buy a lot of plastic spaceships. We know AMG's been hurting a bit, they haven't sold quite as many as they want to. So what can we do to get people to buy more plastic spaceships, all while having more fun? Let me introduce you to one of the most overcosted ships in the game. Let me get the title correct. The autopilot drone. At 12 points, it never sees the table, except as an accessory to an already expensive YT-1300. If you drop the autopilot drone down to say 7 points, now you have an opportunity to not only make it go do very, very, very silly things, especially in scenarios when you want to be in a certain place on the board and that drone is hovering around that place getting ready to explode, and you sell a lot more of those Lando's Falcons, which are the most beautiful Falcon in the game. So you make the game more beautiful, you make the game more financially sound, you make the game more fun and silly, bring some levity to the game. That being said, you may have to cost it so it's like 5 points when you don't bring a YT-1300, but like 15 when you do, just to balance it out. But like maybe even a free autopilot drone, like 0 points just by itself, that would bring a lot of joy to the game, bring financial success to the game, and I think it would make X-Wing a better, happier place to be in.
Okay. Andrew going with the oft overlooked autopilot drone. Will, what ship needs to cost less the most? Your time starts ahora.
Was that now?
That's now in Spanish.
Oh. Okay. I'm going with a Gand ship called the G1A Starfighter. The G1A, very similar to its cousin, the Kimojila. Yet it lacks the dead to rights ability. It lacks the ability to bring extra munitions in addition to its 3 dice primary. Sure, I could pay 1 point for the title to be allowed to equip a cannon. But why are you equipping a cannon on a 3 dice gun anyways? So the price difference between the Kimojila and the Gand Findsman, the G1A, is the difference is 0. They're the exact same price. But the Kimojila is better in almost every single way. The only advantage the Gand Findsman in the G1A have is that it has a stop maneuver. Great. You can go slower and get no actions. Still, the access to the crew slot, it gets decreased in value because they only have 1 agility and limited firing arc. They can't take advantage of these things like Zam or Latsrazi or even like a Maul force point or something. They really have the limitation of a medium-based ship because AMG refuses to let you fly 5 of them at once. They are forced.
Hey, thank you for respecting time. That was nice of you. Andrew, you get 2 minutes to rebut your stance on the G1A being overpriced. Your time starts now.
I think Will makes a lot of great points. I think there's 2 misses. One is that there's so many cheap crew that actually are super valuable in Scum. So Quira, I don't know how to pronounce that, Tobias Beckett, Zuckus, these are all really effective crew that come in at only a couple of points that really help even out the gap with the Kimoliga. I don't know these ships because no one flies them. And that's my real argument, is that they're not in print, they're hard to find, and they ultimately don't make the game more successful. So while it may be too many points for the meta state, making it less points won't make the game more successful, which is why you should vote for me.
All right, Will, your 2 minutes to rebut against the auto drone pilot. That starts now.
All right, so let me compare a simple bomb, a bomb upgrade, and a shield upgrade. Bombs average about 4 points. Shield upgrades also average about 4 points. Okay, but the value you get with the autopilot drone is that you can fly it around. You can position it into areas where you can detonate it at very specific times. Plus, your opponent could be afraid of that explosion and actually have it draw fire away from real ships. So if you are flying it out by itself, it can get a extreme amount of value, even if it is out there for just 3 rounds. In addition to being able to undock it from a ship and then coordinate the ship you just undocked from. That's extreme value. Now you're getting a bomb, 2 extra shields, and a couple extra actions at the same time. I think that's a huge value for just 12 points.
Okay. There it is. Andrew's autopilot drone versus Will's G1A. Gonna start the poll. Who do you think won, Andrew or Will?
And we are getting the better G1A in a month or 2 here with the Razor Crest.
I know, right? 2 agility, rear arc G1A. Come on.
And the
Why did
two
they do
Talon,
this
the
to me?
5K, like those are pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Razor Crest is going to be an amazing ship.
Well, Catherine makes a great point here. They both lose no Howl Runner. I mean, could
I
it
thought
have
that would
been?
be
I
pandering.
thought we agreed Hell Runner's dead.
Could it have been teed up any better for you? The answer is no. No, could not have. Could have won this easily. I do like that your argument, Andrew, like includes AMG's financials.
I mean, that Lando's Falcons is beautiful on the table and should be seen more.
Catherine wants to know if that's
Yeah,
a
talk-
Pokeball lamp behind you, Andrew.
What was that?
Is that a
It's
Pokeball,
a
lamp?
Pokeball.
No. It's some mid-century styled lamp from Target.
Here's a hint. Just answer yes next time. No one will be able to call you on.
Score some points.
Yeah.
I'm not really a Pokemon's person.
I mean, I know we're not debating anymore, but I didn't even think about that. Overcosted. You got to pay 40, 50 bucks for that little autopilot drone. That's real cash money you're losing out on.
Yeah.
I am convinced that Andrew just did not have enough time to pick a ship and went with whatever he could find. But you know what's weird about it is the people have decided that Andrew is correct. AMG, the autopilot drone needs to come down in points.
Free! Make it free!
That is our
I mean,
only complaint. That's the only thing anyone finds wrong. It's just that the autopilot drone is too expensive.
I mean, the pup's what, 4 points?
Yeah, 4. It's so sad. It's a sad pup. Okay. Question number 5, because I want to go a little faster so Will doesn't have to go right from here to do the GSP podcast. That seems unfair to him. Question 5.
Yeah, we got an hour.
Yeah. Question 5. What ship needs to cost more the most? And this one we start with Will. Your time starts now.
I mean, this should come to the surprise of no one. A ship with above average defense and health ratio who can naturally, without penalty, double reposition and get 3 actions that as well. Not only can it bring munitions, it can bring bombs, and specifically mines. You know where I'm going with this. That's the Bomber. The chassis itself has the health of a T-65 X-Wing that we all can agree is better than your average ship with the 2 added shields. But compare this to a Striker. The fact that you lose out on the 3rd attack dice, but you gain 2 extra shields. You don't have to do your ailerons boosting before you maneuver. Plus, you get the lock action, you get to reload, you can reload into evade. You get 3 hard 3s as well. The Bomber has quickly become one of the fastest ships in the game that has the ability to carry different varieties of payloads. And honestly, the named pilots. We're talking Breach is an I-5 is 36 points. That is the equivalent of a I-3 Striker, which is absurd to me. The Black Squadron Scout, 34 points. So right now, with that free boost, up on that Bomber.
Okay. Hey, Andrew, real quick. Does Will sound echoey to you as well?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I wonder if something's happening here. Doesn't matter. Andrew, what ship costs too much? Wait, no. that the question? No. What ship needs to cost more? That's the question. Your 2 minutes starts now.
I think there's one objectively clear answer here, and that is Darth Vader and the TIE Defender. Regardless of its power or success in the current meta, there's no other ship in the game for me where I sit down and think, I don't want to play this game. Like, I would rather concede. Like, if I show up to a Wednesday night game night at the local store, I'd rather not play than play against Vader Defender, because it's ultimately an exercise in frustration and fundamentally changes the way you have to play a game. Instead of trying to outscore your opponent, manage resources, your goal is, what do I have to suffer through for the next hour and 15 minutes in order to maybe get lucky and win this game? Obviously, he's very beatable. He hasn't won any, I don't think he's won any major tournaments recently, but it's not a fun experience and changes the dynamic of the game in a way that is not enjoyable for the person you're flying against, and probably not even very fun for the person who is flying Vader Defender, because your goal is now not to win the game. Your goal is, okay, how do I preserve the points so I win? Or how do I destroy those couple of ancillary components on Vader Defender? Or how do I block him and hope I get lucky scoring those points? It's not an exercise in strategy, it's an exercise in frustration.
Okay. That was a lot of words that came together very nicely. I'm actually like, that's a good little thing right there. Will, you get the 2 minute rebut. What do you got to say about Vader Defender? Your 2 minutes starts now.
Vader Defender is not undercosted. He's probably overcosted. He's easy to block. He only does like 3 different maneuvers: hard 3, 3 bank, or 4K. That mixed with his inability to spend that force on defense, I think if you have enough ships, you should be able to take him down with one simple block. Now, he still has the extra health and things, but I mean, a bunch of ships have lots of health. But the fact that you only need to win the game by killing him, and the rest of the squad won't be able to defeat you, makes it an easy win condition and actually a hindrance on Vader, making his point cost as accurate as it can be.
Okay. And I believe Andrew, you get the last word, right? I have also been fucking with the sound this whole time, so I have not been paying a lot of attention. Andrew, you get the last word. Your time starts now.
The Fombers are absolutely underpriced. They are the best at what they can do. They are a blast to fly. And sometimes they can do things where it feels like you can't stop them. And that means they should be expensive. But they also aren't a negative play experience to play against. When you see a couple of Fombers across the field from 3 and Kylo, you think, this is probably going to be an uphill battle. How do I initiative kill Grudge or Breach quickly enough and not get prox mine too many times and then be able to take on Kylo? And that's a reasonable but tough challenge. And I agree that feeling of, they fly a little past me, boost, Connor me, prox mine me, that kind of sucks. But there's a time and place for a fragile, not very offensive ship to be able to do that. That can still be enjoyable in the scope of X-Wing, as opposed to a Vader Defender where you really have to get that one perfect turn. A game against Fombers will grow and evolve and will change, and they won't be the same thing every time. I think especially because you can kit them out so many different ways. I've seen someone flying 5 snapshot Fombers, and it kind of works. Like, it's not great, but there's a lot of different ways to kit it out, which makes them interesting, which means they should be more expensive, but also means that they're also more fun to fly as a player and to fly against. So they should be allowed to be played well and reasonably in the meta, as opposed to Vader Defender, which to me is just kind of a ruiner of games and enjoyment.
All right, gonna open the poll now. 2 minutes. Bet on who you thought won that one. Please have an outcome for me because I literally was screwing with sound that whole time, and I do not have a firm grasp on the arguments.
How's it sounding now, Greg? Back to normal?
Oh yeah, you sound great now. I think it's just like standard connection shit goes in and out. This is the first time I've used Video Ninja, so.
Andrew, have you flown Vader Defender yourself?
I have not, because I just like I'm in the game to have fun, and it just doesn't seem like fun to me. It really doesn't seem like fun. It's also not like the kind of ship I'd want to fly. Like, I want to get in there and do something. I don't want to have to.
What's your typical squad?
I fly a lot of like 3 ship. One of them being like a big turret, like a big base turret.
Okay.
So I flew, I've been playing for maybe 6 months. Flew a lot of like Fat Han and Leia, Luke, Ahsoka is what I've been flying recently.
Okay.
Got about 15 seconds left to vote, but Will, you're coming away with a commanding 6-2 lead.
They're way
for the life of me, can't remember what shit you said. You said FO bomber.
The
right?
Fomber.
Yeah, it needs to go up a little bit. Yeah, I do think
points.
the FO bomber spam is getting a little out of hand.
Yeah, it's easy to track one, but like, man, when you have to start thinking about like 3 or 4 of them boosting and moving fast.
And I almost wonder if there's like an upgrade slot solution to it, because like you want them to have that white boost because it is like it's their thing and it's really cool, but do they need to be able to have torpedoes?
I just never thought it. I just don't think it should be white. It should give you a strainer deplete or something. It should have a penalty for using it. It's so good.
Okay. Well, chat has decreed William T. Mallard Hagwood gets that, currently enjoying a 3,333 to 2,222 point lead. And this next question goes to Andrew. Question 6. Is 200 points enough, too few, or too many? Andrew, the first word goes to you. Your time starts now.
I'm going to say it's just about the right amount of points. In the context of what the game should be, an hour 15 minutes feels like enough time to have a quick competitive match, a slow competitive match, or a casual match. So I think if we're, and we can discuss this, but if we're in the assumption that an hour 15 is a pretty good amount of time to play a game, the 200 points as they're scored currently allows you to have a variety of ship types. So you can have just a couple of very powerful ones or a swath, a swarm, and allows you to have any single matchup be able to have a reasonable chance of finishing in time or finishing to complete destruction, which I think is probably your ultimate goal, is that most, if not all, ships have been destroyed. And as you get more competitive, you see the deeper cut rounds, games get shorter as people take longer. But the current number of ships is the right number of ships that for most games you can fly what you want without feeling the restriction of, I can't add this, I can't have this archetype. At the same time, most games are able to get to a state where the game is either fully complete or you know the inevitable outcome and it's just a matter of time before someone wins. And so for me, those are indicators that we have the right number of points. You can fly at most variety of archetypes that you want. Those archetypes can be competitive in different ways, and all those archetypes can match up against each other and mostly finish their games. Says to me that we're in the right number of ships on the board, right number of available points.
Okay. Andrew's saying we're at the right number of points. Will, is 200 points enough, too few, or too many? Your time starts now.
Not enough points. Now, while 200 points, sure, will allow you to fly the fattest Han or the loaded out nim that you are looking for. But you know what's holding you back from the most glorious of models? And I'm talking epic ships. Corvettes, the Raiders, Gonzantes, the Sea Rocks, Trident Assault Class, Squids. Have you played against a Squid? Would you like to? Because you would be able to if they would just increase the points just enough to allow people to bring epic ships along with their squadron. I'm not talking epic squadrons. We don't need to go all the way up to 500. But I want a little bit more so I can bring the best model out there, that Corellian Corvette. The first ship ever seen in Star Wars. Extremely iconic. But yet, our overlord oppressors have restricted our access to these glorious models
Bastards!
by refusing to give us more points. And if you've been denied points, I think we can all stand together and want more points together. Points for you, points for us, points for everybody. Give us more points. Universal points income for every list, okay?
Okay. Andrew, you get 2 minutes now to rebut upon Will's request for more points to fit in epic ships. Your time starts now.
I would love to see epic ships in. And at the current point costs, you could easily fit epic ships in. In Alderaanian Guard and an Outer Rim Smuggler, 2 iconic ships, right now come in at just 201 points. And many other epic ships are significantly cheaper than the Corellian Corvette. The generic Gonzante is only 67. I don't know what the other epic ships are, but the Raider is 134. Plenty of points. If AMG would only give us rules, give us points. So to allow us to play these epic ships, you could do that easily. What I don't want is a 4-hour game where I have to commit my whole afternoon to playing. Agree with Will at 500 points too many. But I think there's a real scenario where a 200, maybe 201 point list could fit an epic ship and one other thing, and it would be fine. We would just need the rules to support that, because right now the point costs are fitting into a 200 point list.
Okay. And Will, you get the final word here. Your response to 200 is fine. Your time starts now.
At 200 points, I think the biggest problem is that you can load out just 2 ships to the gills and fly a duo squad. And that's just not the X-Wing I want to fly, and it doesn't feel like dogfighting. It feels like we're playing capital ships with our big turrets and our bunch of health. I want enough points to fly squadrons of ships alongside maybe a capital ship. Maybe we're doing multiple wings. They want us. They're stopping us at 8 ships. No. I say up the ship count, up the points. Right now, there's too much restrictions. The way things are going at 200 points, there's just not enough variety. Ships overall are getting more expensive. Every time a ship comes out, you can load it down even crazier. Give us more points. Let us play with all of the toys at once.
All right. There it is. I will open the poll. Really wish they had a repeat poll option. Would save me a good amount of time. There it is. Who won? Andrew or Will? Vote now. Hamelot says. So the question is the points ratio enough? We could easily have 1,000 points, but the ratios are all the same and nothing would change. Well, I think
increase.
I think we're not talking about increasing the points, but like everything increases with it. I think we're talking about changing the ratio down for each ship. by increasing the points threshold. Subroot says, Will Hagwood just wants the Ahav meta.
I just want to actually put those epic ships on the board at some point.
They're decorations.
Man,
for me.
it's I know, it's so sad. I mean, that is one thing that X-Wing does have over like Magic the Gathering or like other games is that
Yeah, when we blow all of our money, we can actually display this shit.
Even if they're like, well, the game's dead now, but you can just burn all your cards in cardboard. But you get to keep your models, right? At least you're
Yeah, but I
invested in
did-
something.
When I was moving, I did sell my Magic cards off for a pretty tasty sum.
You
Those
found a
nice
sucker.
little-
That's what you did.
I mean, I guess.
We could all find a sucker, Greg. We can make a lot of money.
I'm too busy usually being the sucker. Be like, oh, this sounds great.
Well, you know,
What are
to
NFTs?
to each their own, I guess.
Andrew's really good at sitting perfectly still. Like his eyes move and like occasionally he smiles, but like the body doesn't move at all. Blows my mind. Be good in a courtroom. You know what else you'd be good at? Debating if 200 points is enough or not because the chat prefers Andrew 6-3. We've got another tie game. Question number 7, starting with Will. What faction needs the biggest upgrade? Your time starts now.
I'm going to use some of my time to ask a question of, do you mean an upgrade or a theoretical upgrade?
When I wrote the question in my head, I was thinking, what faction needs the most help right now?
Help. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go, now this might sound crazy,
Okay.
but I'm going to go with Rebels. Yes, I know. Yes, I
What?
know. A couple pilots have been making some waves. And let me tell you why those pilots have been making waves in Rebels. It's because they're brand new. Ahsoka, Hera, okay? Those are brand new pilots. The last time Rebels got a new pilot was Gina Moonsong in Hot Shots and Aces, okay? Before that, zero. Big ol' fat goose egg. They haven't had a new release outside of Phoenix Cell and Hot Shots and Aces, which arguably were just new pilots. They need help in a form of an expansion, please. Now we are getting Fangs as well, but once again, not a new model. Can I get a new ship for my Rebels, please? So we don't have to use these, I'm going to say shenanigans, of Hera and Jin passing evades. Let's play spreadsheet dice simulator. What results we're going to get. And give me something new and interesting. Please help the Rebels. They need it very much.
All right. I see Andrew's bringing out the big guns here. Andrew, Will went with Rebels, so I debated just ending this one, giving you the points and moving on. But you know what? We'll let you go. What faction needs the biggest upgrade? Your 2 minutes starts now.
Out of respect for Will taking his time to ask a question, this is Waylon. He's very mean. He's very cute though. Everyone say hi to Waylon. Oh, look at that buddy. Yeah, we got some fluffy friends today. So what faction needs the biggest upgrade? I'm going to go for a highly successful faction, the Separatists. Just based on the lack of archetypes they have, a lot of other factions can do a lot of different things. You can have pure ace lists, you can have the big battleships, you can fly swarms. Separatist seems to have only a couple. Like you got the swarmy swarms, you got the 2-ship battleships, and then like maybe you have like the Django, Grievous, 404, whatever list, which is, I mean, that's great, but like that's 3 lists, and there's a lot of different flavors of swarms. But if 99% of your, I mean, maybe what, like 90% of this separatist lists are 6+ ship swarm, 2-ship battleship, or that 3-ship specific list. That means you probably need something more interesting. Some proper AC tri-fighters could potentially help out. Some new belly rub pilots who got some meat in their bones, some cool abilities that support themselves, not just swarms, all could help make the CIS a faction that can do something other than just 2 different things.
Okay. Will, you get 2 minutes to rebut to Andrew's CIS. Your time starts now.
The CIS have been trying to steal other ships since the day they started. Okay, we're talking stealing the Gauntlet. It's not rightfully theirs. Okay, I don't care what the paint job says. Now I heard rumors they're trying to take back the Sheathpede from the Rebels. I won't allow it. Okay, that was iconically more important to the Rebels storyline than it ever was for the Clone Wars. So I say nay to CIS getting more help than they already have. They have some of the best chassis in the game. Have you seen vultures? Have you seen hyenas? They got the fire spray. Talking about stealing ships. Come on. They couldn't get a ship good enough, so they had to go out and steal one from a different faction. And for that treachery, I do not think that they need any of my help at all.
Okay, Andrew, you get the last word. Why do the Rebels not need help? Your time starts now.
If you want to talk about stealing, let's talk about the ARC 170. Let's talk about the TIE LN. The TIE LN in Rebels. Ridiculous. The Rebels have everything. They have munitions carriers, they have beef, they now even have aces with Ahsoka, maybe just one ace, but they got an ace. They have some of the best pilots in the game, like Wedge is fabulous and easy to understand, like a great pilot to give to a beginner, but also fabulous in the hands of an expert. They can do everything. Hera is broken, just nonsense for the game, but she still works well and feels somehow appropriate to the Rebels. So many different base sizes, lots of good medium bases. You got the U-Wing. I mean, what other faction can fly 4 medium bases with a front arc only that can't turn around and still be successful? Like, no one else can pull that nonsense off because the Rebels have been around for so long. They have every type of option. They have pure coordinators. They have big base boosting. Like, no one else gets these things. The Rebels have plenty of toys. They got a 4-die gun. They got moldy crows. They got E-Wings if we let them have E-Wings. They have everything and don't need a cent more.
Okay. There it is from Andrew. We will start our poll.
I can't
Poll
imagine putting
is
Rebels
up.
on without that new stuff.
Who won? I can't believe neither of you said Republic.
They get new ships all the time. Yeah, they have so much force. They don't need any help.
It's like anything you put in that faction has to balance with all those force users. Like, it's just too. They got what they need.
Here's a topic. The Force is too cheap. Republic ships are so cheap with all the Force.
True. Facts. I mean, not really though. Like the named 7Bs are exponentially more expensive than their T70 or T65 counterparts.
Yeah, 7Bs are.
Like what's Luke's price equivalent for a 7B? Luke's what, 60 points?
Luke is 60. Yeah.
So the closest would be Obi-Wan 70. They're both I5. Obi-Wan gets one extra force, but whatever. And the ability to
even
hold
Plo Koon is 63 points.
with 7B. I mean,
with 7B.
does it not seem fair though with the ability to reposition and get mod?
I feel like some of the cheaper ones, like the lower initiative ones, are still like a little expensive. Like the Sassy Tin. I mean, I don't know. Has anyone ever flown Sassy? I've never seen Sassy Tin. I don't know what Sassy Tin can do, but that feels like 60 points for Sassy Tin at I4, 2/4s, versus 67 for Obi-Wan, who's I5. Like that's a big. Obi-Wan should be a lot more than her, I think.
Yeah, I guess they do get that boost without closing their wings.
Yeah, they get their roll boost without having to sacrifice anything, and they can do it and still mod.
Yeah.
They
It's
don't
not
have
like
the
a
one
stressful
forward.
thing either. They don't have the one forward, which is
That dial's amazing
big.
though.
It is a
Yeah, or I guess R3s. I mean, there's slight differences. I mean, yeah, true. Plo Koon can't just slap a proton torpedo to him and call it a day, right?
yeah.
So,
All
fair
right,
enough.
here we go. Will, looks like you've come out ahead, 5-3, and that's going to bring you up to 4,444 points. To Andrew's pickly 3,333. And we are moving on to question 8. Only 2 questions left. Question 8. This one we're going to start with Andrew. With in-person tournaments gaining steam, how is the meta going to shift? Andrew, your time starts now.
I'm assuming we're talking about with objective play and all that nonsense.
You can take it any way you'd like, buddy. I'm not going to tell
I'm
you.
gonna,
what
I'm gonna
to say.
assume that. I think the biggest change will be those really expensive 2 defense die ships may stop happening. Just because like if you have an 80-point Boba Fett or even like an 80-point Obi-Wan or a 70-point Obi-Wan, and it's only got 6 hull and 2 defense die, if it goes pop, you're losing the game. Like if the games are scored to 20 and you lose 7 or 8 with one ship, that ship now becomes useless to you once it's on like 2 hull. Once it's on 2 hull or 1 hull, it's gotta run to the other side of the map because the game is over if you lose it. So I think those will maybe you may see them dying off, or you may see some of those more expensive pilots that are used to having the party bosk may come in as not party bosk, just so you can avoid that giant point hit. That's more of a I guess objective thing versus in person. In person, I just think maybe the Alpha Strike gets more and more popular. It's happened a lot. LVO, you saw a lot of that. Like those first rounds of engagement are more important. And as people play slower, as you have more ships on the board with objectives, if you're now in a 4-5 ship meta versus a 3-4, the game slows down, and so those first 2 rounds of engagement become more important. And so you place an emphasis on being able to really knock someone out, take down the ship, get the full points for blowing them up, and then kind of slowly moving on through the rounds.
Okay. Will, with in-person tournaments gaining steam, how is the meta going to shift? Your time starts now.
In person, I believe that while there has been some outliers recently, I believe in person is going to heavily shift towards 2 and 3 ship builds. Not only is it easier to fly, less moving parts, the strengths of being able to arc dodge, lower initiative ships, the 50-50 chance to move after other aces, even at the same initiative, are all beneficial to keeping your ship alive and undamaged as long as possible. With that we'll say rounds, with the number of rounds shrinking with in-person, we're coming back into in-person play. Every shot matters, which also means then every arc dodged matters even more. If you can, the fewer amount of red dice you let your opponent roll, the easier time it's going to be to win. So I'm thinking like triple aces or 2 fat turrets as well. Maybe not so much like falcons, but we've seen similar things with fire sprays and Maul. Could be a combination where you end up with basically having just one important piece, so that You can concentrate all your mental power in positioning, thought process into making sure that ship flies perfectly instead of getting bogged down with the multiple ships, and being able to, like I said, make those important rounds go into your favor values a single high initiative ship.
All right. Andrew, your rebuttal. Your time starts now.
Earlier in this debate, Will pointed out that we're bad at flying ships. And that means that the more you focus on what, 2 or 3 ships, the more likely you are to make a mistake. And a mistake with a 50-point X-Wing, not too bad. A mistake with your 80-point Kylo, that could be a disaster. So, yes, even though you're in person, there's a desire to fly less ships. That also exposes you to more mistakes. People don't like making mistakes, people don't like losing, so they're not going to move to that 2-3 ship list because the mistakes are punished more. And again, if you have this weird, only get points if you kill the ship.
Look at us.
Scoring.
Look at us. Huh?
Now,
Who would have thought?
a big
Not me.
mistake is the end of the game and not just a mistake. So that's why I think that that type of list is probably going to go by the wayside, unfortunately.
All right. And the last word goes to Will. Will, your time starts now.
So Andrew, you brought up a common archetype being with the Alpha Strike. Essentially a list designed to win the game in the first engagement. With the Crossroads Classic last weekend, that example of Warthog could prevent that Super Alpha from doing almost anything. Sure, you can take the arc off the board, but it still gets to fire at one of your valuable aces. We've seen this now becoming more prevalent with Nash as well, can do it in Empire. And even the Pinata droid for Separatists as well. You coming in and just alpha striking a single ship is not going to have the same benefits that it used to. Whether it's, like I said, these kind of defensive abilities or shifting the priorities away from the objective. You might be going to go kill a single ship, but the rest of their squadron is going to go off and score the objective points that could be worth more than the ship they traded for.
All right. Those were the words. Let me open the poll. Again, Twitch, if you're listening to me, which you clearly are not, a repeat poll, but there it is. Get your votes in. Who won this one, Andrew or Will?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because, if we use the Boba barometer, where Boba Fett's probably going to be 80 points or something, and people are going to play him because he's still going to be really good. If Boba has 2 or 3 hull left, does he have to run? Do you just lose the game if he dies? And so how that shapes the way you interact in the game, I think will be very interesting and maybe even more impactful than the actual points scored in the objective.
Do you guys think
I don't know,
people will be more or less cowardly in real life than they were on TTS because you don't have to look your opponent in the eye?
Oh, very less cowardly. There's an intimidation factor. Set your dial so fast and just lean in to the table.
I'm
Just
scared.
waiting for him. Just
Will.
waiting for him.
Will, we can only handle too much handsome. Please. Getting closer to the camera isn't helping anyone. Good time to point out this stream not sponsored by Manscaped. They will not reply to me.
Just like Tinder all over again, Greg.
Tell me about it.
Ooh, low blow, man. Gee.
He's not wrong. Although I will say this, everybody. I did get a Tinder match yesterday, and it's actually going pretty well. I think it's a real person. We'll see. Ouch.
That's
down,
good news.
Population Greg says. Okay. All right. Is it time to play our favorite game? No, this one's actually real, but you know what? We can do this shit anyway. It's time for America's favorite game show. Is Greg's Tinder match real? All right. Well, it looks like by a score of 7-4, Andrew, the people agree with you, which makes this a 4,444 game to 4,444, with the next question being for all the marbles. Will, it's your turn to start. Final question, everything you got into it. You have one pilot that you trust to win the game. Who is that pilot? Your time starts now.
If I was going to entrust one pilot, it would have to be the most oppressive, the most reliable ship in the game. And you know who I'm talking about. That's Darth Vader Defender. You cannot deny that he is a offensive powerhouse and a troubling ship for your enemy to take down in the end game. Darth Vader can go not just 1-on-1, but 1-on-3, 1-on-4. He can do it all. And unless they get that one key block on you, you are smooth sailing for the rest of the game and should have no problem cleaning up these ships that cost 1/8 of your price. Darth Vader Defender, because he's so oppressive, can take command of the battlefield like no other ship. So if I was going to put all my marbles onto a single pilot to take me through, carry me to the promised land, there's no other person, a Dark Lord of the Sith himself, Darth Vader in the Defender.
Okay, Darth Vader Defender, Andrew's favorite ship. I don't know what he's going to say now. Andrew, your 2 minutes. You have one pilot that you trust to win the game. Who is it? Your time starts now.
We're picking the space cowboy himself. It's Han Solo, the only man who could take down Darth Vader. The only man.
Don't take the hat off.
Have your dice ever let you down? Han Solo that. Has your opponent's ace ever hid behind a gas cloud? Trick shot that. Has your opponent ever tried to 4K on you with their silly white 4K? Pull the handbrake, stop, let him run into you, because you're Han Solo. Can't stop, won't stop. Listen, nothing sadder than a Fenrau blankout. That's why you bring Han Solo. He's fun, he's a turret, he's big base boosting at I-6 because they can't catch you even if they want to. If they try to catch you, trick shot him. And you know what? Your opponent's going to have fun too, because when you roll that blank evade, green dice into evade, everyone's laughing, and you're laughing too, because you're going to win that game, and no one can stop you.
Okay. I don't know why you keep removing the hat. Clearly, this is a leave it on situation. It's all or nothing here. But Will, you get 2 minutes. You get to who? We're all inside right now. Will, you get 2 minutes to rebut the Han Solo. Your time starts now.
I want to point to a classic scene in one of the Star Wars movies, Empire Strikes Back. Han Solo bursts into the room, sees a menacing figure. What does he try to do? Shoot his gun? But no! That gun, ineffective against the powers of the Force. You talking about dice not going your way? How about we just have automatic modifiers? Oh, turn that blank on my offense by spinning the Force to a hit. Or I rolled some blanks on defense. Good thing I get free evades. You don't get more consistency in your dice than Darth Vader Defender.
Okay, I will point out that clearly when Darth Vader used his hand to block the blaster bolts, that was using the Force on defense, which is illegal for him. So,
but then he pulled the gun. He pulled the gun with the force.
Again?
And I'm going to call that offensive.
I mean, all right, so you have double tap with the tractor beam? Like, what's going on here? I'm a little confused. Andrew,
Yes.
your 2 minutes starts now.
The one person who can take Darth Vader down. No man. In fact, it's a droid, R2-D2, who's hanging out with Han Solo in the crew compartment. You know what? Sometimes it's not about winning. It's about winning against all odds and with style. And if you want to win, pick Vader Defender. But if you want to win with style and elegance and a bit of attitude, you pick the fattest, the chonkiest of Han Solos with R2-D2, with Kanan, shield upgrade, hull upgrade, handbrake nonsense. I don't know what else you could put on him. Maybe some missiles if you feel like it. Win in style. Don't win with dice. Win with style.
Maui also suggests Luke Gunner.
Yeah, OP.
All right, so brave strategy, admitting that Will was right by saying if you want to win, go with Vader, but if you want to win with style, go with Han. It's a questionable strategy, but you know what? It all comes down to this. Who won this one, guys? Andrew or Will? Get your votes in. Your 2-minute poll starts now.
Oh man! Ever since you were talking up that Vader Defender for the undercosted ship, I was like, you know what? He would be an excellent choice for the
I was
last
actually
question.
even like Vader X1, I think is great to win that game. That's what I was thinking originally, but then you picked Mr. Defender, and I had
See,
to
I
go
think
with
Vader X1 one-on-one is not that good.
but he is fun Again,
As long as you
we'll
have
do it
FCS, he is.
with afterburners. Yeah.
Yeah, if you got any afterburner charges.
I mean, he is a little bit weak to other I-6 turrets, just because he's
like
gonna constantly
like
get
a Han
pelted.
Solo, for example.
Yeah, because he doesn't have an evade token, so he will eventually blank out.
Got about a minute left, and this one is not close. Andrew, do you think Will's good looks played any part in this final vote here?
Not with this hat I got.
I'm gonna give
evened it
this.
out.
You blame the hat for this lopsided vote.
Listen,
You know what-
if you pick Vader Defender, you hate fun. So
Well, a lot of people seem to hate fun. Andrew, do you think it's because you're wearing a hat indoors why people voted against you?
that's correct. That is why am I so rude?
I wish I had a hat nearby to put. We could have a hat off. Oh wait, I got one. I'm coming back.
I'm gonna come back with a different hat. Give me a second.
All right, everyone's gonna use a hat. What is this, the JFK moment? Man, listen, if you had worn that the whole time.
All right, Andrew, are you a clever girl?
Well, that worked out really brilliantly considering what Andrew wore.
I already knew what he was going to do by trying to counter my Muldoon outfit with a raptor of his own.
All right, well, the votes are in by a score of 11-3. People have said that Vader Defender is not only fun, but preferred in the end game, which gives Handsome Will the 5,555 point victory to 4,444. But wait, Wade Snap says, can we change votes now that new information has been presented with these hats? The answer is no. Guys, thank you so much for participating in this stupid debate that I very much like to do.
Thanks so much for having me, Greg.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Greg. Ban Vader Defender.
Ban Vader Defender is Andrew's call. Andrew, do you have anything you want to promote? Do you do any podcasts? Any?
No, but I will be at the Cherokee Open this weekend, so if anyone is there, come say hi.
And he will also be at Adepticon
I will not.
at the end of March. I am going
I'll
to.
try. I want to get there. I'll do my best.
I am going to bully him into it. Demi493, first time chat, says Y-Wings are back. Sure.
Yes, they are. Republic
Will.
Y-Wings, look out for them.
Will,
New
you've got
autopilot
the
drone meta.
Will, you've got the GSP podcast happening in like half an hour or so people should check that out. Is there anything else you want them to?
If Marcel's, it'll be about an hour.
Okay, so about an
Um,
hour. Anything else that people should check out?
Main thing is sign up for Adepticon. I know that
Andrew.
we have not released the price support for it, but we're waiting to get those in hand. We do not want to promise something that we do not have. So there's a little bit delay on that, which is the hesitation to go to Adepticon to purchase your ticket, at least to register for the convention. I can understand the hesitancy, but if you trust GSP, if you can put your faith in Dion Morales, I would say wager it all. Take the trip out to Schaumburg, because it's going to be an amazing time. So definitely
And
check it out.
Don't stay at the hotel that they're providing because it is way more expensive than everything else out there.
It's got to be like $300 a night or something crazy.
It's like $135, and I got my hotel for like $74.
Okay, fair enough.
And it's a mile away, like a mile away.
But yeah, actually, I got one other thing. In addition to telling everybody to sign up for Adepticon, come meet us in person. If you can't come in person, just follow the streams. We're gonna be doing some pretty awesome stuff all weekend for it. But in addition to seeing me on the Adepticon stream, me and James Ritter, Raptor Ritter, are going to be taking over Wednesday nights on GSP